I mean, the only, I think, important other question to deal with is the Chinese factor,
Mm.
because the Chinese here are the biggest hypocrites out. They pretend to be the biggest supporters of the territorial integrity of states. You know, they're very sensitive about Tibet, Eastern Turkmenistan, sorry, and Taiwan, and yet at the same time they're supporting Russia, which is infringing the principle of the territorial integrity of states. With here, the Trump administration has a point. They're not always wrong. The Trump administration has a point here on two areas. Firstly, that without Chinese support, the Russian military could not continue to function. And that is true. So, in this sense, China's support to the Russian military is far more important than Iran or North Korea. Secondly, the Europeans have been unwilling to sanction either China or India, who are the two biggest buyers of Russian oil. And that Trump is right again to criticize that. At the same time, the Trump administration has only sanctioned India and not China. So the hypocrisy is can be spread around here on this question. But China is playing a very conniving game here. I'm sure it's a two-way process. I'm sure China's um, uh, educating itself a lot about modern warfare, which it then potentially will use down the road against Taiwan. So that factor, that factor about how this war in Ukraine is not a Russian-Ukrainian war. It's a war between Ukraine and the West on one side and Russia and its Axis powers, China, Iran, and North Korea on the other. To me, is the biggest puzzle for the Trump administration. Why don't they get that? They keep talking about we want to leave the Ukraine war to the Europeans because we need to focus on Asia, East Asia, and China. Well, I'm sorry to disappoint the White House, but all of these wars are interconnected. And the idea you can kind of separate them is complete rubbish. I mean, it's just simply not true. So that's still something they haven't worked out completely in Trump land, but maybe they eventually will.